Hi everybody, it's Tatiana, and today I am coming to do my September wrap-up. I was going to try and delay this just a little bit, but then I decided to get a little honest with myself and be truthful about the fact that it is 11:54 on September 30th, and I'm not going to finish the books that I'm almost finished reading or have made some headway in reading within the next 6 minutes. So I just said, you know what? Go ahead and record your wrap up, because those of you who are subscribed to my channel know this month has been a video light month. And it's not because I haven't recorded videos. I have recorded videos. I just have not had time to edit them yet. So thankfully, I had one on reserve that needed to be uploaded, which was the review of, what was that? Locked In by John Scalzi. And then I had a book haul that I quickly recorded one night, while I also recorded a couple of other videos and got that up as well. So yes, this is my wrap up for the month of September, and some of the books that I have read I've actually already returned to the library because I was on the hold list to get them, and one of them, the time frame that I was supposed to have it, the month that I was supposed to have it, actually expired, and I could not renew it because there were holds. So I went ahead and read that quickly so that I could return it, and I ended up, I think, having it 5 days over the due date, which isn't bad. I don't mind paying library fines. That's really the only contribution that I make to the library, unless there's a book sale going on. So for the month of September, and I'm referring to my Goodreads list because I don't have some of the books with me, so I don't have a stack here to count. For the month of September, I read 6 books, which is still a good reading month, and I started 2 that I did not get the chance to quite finish. The first book that I read, or first story that I read, was the short story nominee for the BookTube SFF Awards, which was The Meeker and the All-Seeing Eye. And after reading that, I think I have read all, I think there were only 3 nominations. I think I've read all of the nominations for short story for the BookTube SFF Awards, and I have to say, of the 3 that I read, which were The Slow Regard of Silent Things by Patrick Rothfuss, The Strange Library by Haruki Murakami, and then The Meeker and the All-Seeing Eye by Matthew Kressel. The Meeker and the All-Seeing Eye was my favorite of the 3, with The Slow Regard of Silent Things being in close second. I really enjoyed the story, and it did not feel like I was missing a lot with it being such a short story. It is available for free online. It was a Clarkesworld magazine submission. And it didn't feel like I was reading a short story. I read it while I was riding on a road trip with some of my very close friends. So yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. The idea of this all-seeing, all-knowing, never-dying presence that roam the galaxy, absorbing dead stars and dead worlds, and the Meeker, who is its companion slash navigator, at times helpmate to keep things going. And then the appearance of this being that they are attempting to collect and reproduce or rebuild based on the genetic material that they find, and it turns out to be a human. And the unveiling of that story, and just, there's more that I can say about it, but it is a short story, and to say more would kind of spoil some things. But there were some developments that took place with the All-Seeing Eye, as well as with the Meeker, that just really made it a story that I could enjoy as a short story. If you subscribe to my channel, you know I am not a fan of the short story, so I really enjoyed it. It's my favorite of the 3, which I've already said. Then on to the books that I had to return to the library already. I read Cress, which is the third book in the Lunar Chronicles series by Marissa Meyer. Yes. And of the three, Cress is my favorite. Number one, I really enjoyed the development of the other characters that took place in this book, because you have Cress, who is the title character of the book and that we're introduced to, but you have the other characters from the other stories and their development as well. I liked Cress more. I found Cress to be less annoying than Scarlet. And Scarlet was less annoying in this novel, and I don't know if that has to do with the fact that I read it in print as opposed to the audiobook. I enjoyed Cinder. I didn't care for the narrator's voice, but I really did not like Scarlet because of Scarlet. I liked the Cinder part of Scarlet, but I didn't like Scarlet. But I liked the entire composition of the Cress story. Then I also read Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas, which is the third installation in the Throne of Glass series. Again, really enjoyed it. I tell you, that series is like a guilty pleasure, but you don't feel guilty for enjoying it. It really ends up being a story that I don't want. It's like a show that you don't want to end. You want to keep going so that you can continue to explore this world and know what happens. And the only downside about this series that I am finding so far that's different than some of the other series that I have read in the field is that with the start of each book, you feel like you are starting from scratch all over again. So I guess that's good if you are reading it and not starting at book one, but it always feels like, to me, the super beginning, not just the beginning of another section or the beginning of a different obstacle or trial, but it is the super beginning, the genesis of another story, and you are starting from the ground floor and you have to work your way up to the major point of the plot, the apex of the story each time that you go in, as opposed to it feeling like a continuous flow. Each time you start the next book, it really feels like the next book is book one until you get to the larger portion of, or the more in-depth portion of the plot. That aside, I still enjoy reading the novels. I still am considering purchasing them. I have to think about whether or not I would read them again. The fourth novel in that series, which was Queen of Shadows, was released this month. I am currently on hold at the library to get it. I think I'm like the 8th person in line or something to get it. So whenever I get that, I will read it. But yes to that.